the worst offensive player.
She's not very offensive competent, bro.
Caitlin Clark laughing at Angel Reese's missed layup.
Generational meme.
To lose the game. Here it is. Here's the video. She can rebound everything.
Angel Reese, possibly the greatest basketball player in the history of America. Oh, wow. Look at those moves. Yeah, that shot is really hard with the hoop wide.
Player in the country.
I feel like I'm the best player in the country.
WNBA draft. The Indiana Fever select Caitlin Clark, University of...
Angel Reese stood in the heart of the paint, arms spread wide, mouth open, yelling at her own teammate to move out and leave her space to operate. That is the moment spreading across social media right now, and it could not have gone viral at a worse possible time. Just minutes after insisting on having that much room to herself with no defender anywhere near her, Reese received the ball on a completely open opportunity at the basket and still failed to convert it.
I'm thinking to myself, okay, ATL is going to actually win this game, and then we get down to the end of regulation, you guys. And I'm like, okay, Ron Howard, open three. She's going to hit it. No, she does not. Angel, you got it. Put back layup, game winner. No. And then Nas again caught it, put it up. No. I'm just like, oh my God, like, are we serious? How does that happen? And all of you guys, baby, my girl Angel, all right, back up off her, okay? Like, back up off of Angel. We know that she missed that layup.
The Atlanta Dream ultimately lost that game to the Indiana Fever in overtime. And when the final buzzer sounded, many people watching were left asking the exact same question. If she needed that much space simply to create an open shot, what would happen when that space was actually handed to her?
Have the ball for the last shot, game's tied, and Angel Reese has a bunny layup basically by herself, uncontested, and she cannot make that layup. She had 14 rebounds yesterday, 5 of them offensive. I'm not sure how many were off her own misses because I was at camp and got home for the end of regulation and then overtime. But her making that or missing that layup, you just knew. And she looked kind of crestfallen, and she should be because you ought to be able to make.
That moment has now become the focus of a much larger discussion about where Angel Reese really stands inside the Atlanta locker room right now. Is she truly the outspoken, demanding leader she appears determined to be? Or has her presence and intensity on the court begun to exceed what she delivers when the ball is finally in her hands? After what happened in this game, that question is unlikely to disappear anytime soon.
Best player, if your best player for Atlanta could make a layup, I wouldn't have this gleeful smile that I have on my face right now. It's a layup. You're 1 foot away. Make it, please. You have a fast break layup by yourself early in the game. How you shoot fast break layups at 50? Fast break layups by yourself at 50%. I don't know. I can't explain it. But Caitlin Clark, 26 points.
This is not some minor detail hidden inside the box score. This could be the biggest storyline to emerge from the entire Fever versus Dream rivalry this season, and it has very little to do with Caitlin Clark's shooting or Indiana's depth. The real issue is whether Angel Reese's own teammates may have quietly reached their limit with her. Reactions surrounding Atlanta have created the impression of a team growing frustrated, not simply because of losses, but because they may feel like they are constantly adjusting around one player who does not always deliver when the ball comes back to her. That kind of tension rarely appears overnight. It develops one possession at a time, one missed easy opportunity at a time, until eventually it spills out in front of the cameras for everyone watching at home to witness.
In particular, her energy shifted. I thought when she got some of those easy baskets to go in the paint.
Let's go back to Angel really quickly, though, because she was part of the catalyst that you saw to be able to change things around.
It's been there. Like, sometimes the basket is too open.
I can't believe we had to listen to that garbage the entire halftime, the entire broadcast of the game while she is blowing the easiest first grade 1-inch layups you'd ever see. And Caitlin Clark is out there hitting logo bombs in her face, dropping 26 and 9 for 12 straight games. Instead of saying she's playing at an MVP level, they're out here glazing Angel Reese just like her fans do on social media. Caitlin Clark gets no love, not considered in the MVP conversation, will be the only player in WNBA history to be top 3 in points and number 1 in assists. And they're sitting here glazing Angel Reese. It's all about Olivia Miles and Paige Beckers, which her team's winning. She's breaking all their...
Here is the part that hurts the most for Atlanta fans watching all of this unfold. Look closely at the sequence because it almost feels like a joke writing itself. Reese yells at a teammate to clear out of her way. The teammate moves. She receives the ball in the exact open space she demanded, and instead of taking a controlled shot or making a simple, smart pass, she sends the ball toward an area where nobody on the court can make a play on it. There is no teammate waiting underneath, no rebounder coming from the weak side, and no realistic chance of creating anything useful. The possession simply falls apart right there. For someone who has spent much of this season presenting herself as a vocal leader and facilitator for the Atlanta roster, a possession like that does little to strengthen the case she has been trying to make for herself.
I know that everyone says that mic and drills don't work for basketball, but if there's one person on the face of this raggedy planet that needs to do mic and drills until their wrists fall off, it is Angel Reese. I have never seen a human miss that many point-blank layups regularly. Angel Reese, she doesn't just see everybody, oh, she missed a game winner, her palms are sweaty. Nah, she misses regular lays all the time. The little putbacks, the million rebounds is a symptom of her missing point-blank layups. Is she left-handed? Because it's always a right-handed, I promise you, with the same coverages she has to get through, I can score that. I can do that. Father of three, regular nigga. Right? I promise you, I could shoot a higher percentage right there at the basket.
Fans usually have no problem with a player being vocal and demanding on the court. What becomes much harder to accept is when a player insists on controlling a possession, gets exactly the space and opportunity she called for, and then fails to make anything of it. That is the kind of repeated pattern that can slowly change the way teammates view someone during a timeout huddle, whether anyone is willing to admit it publicly in a press conference or not. The cameras captured more than one moment when teammates appeared to share quick, quiet looks after another possession failed to produce anything. Nobody dramatically threw their hands in the air. Players are taught to stay composed, but body language can still reveal plenty, and the subtle reactions from that bench seem to tell a story of their own, just as clearly as anything said afterward at the podium.
I don't know how y'all do it. I don't know how y'all defend her. The score is 81-81 in the fourth quarter. 6 seconds left.
Atlanta Dream has the chance to win this game.
Then this happens.
5 seconds. Howard launches. Missed it badly. Reese the putback. Won't go. Hillman, no.
Like, I truly do not understand. Angel Reese is a professional basketball player. Why do she miss so many layups? Like, look. Layups is like the second thing that you learn when you first start basketball. The first thing is how to dribble a basketball. Then the coach will bring you down to that block, exactly where she missed that layup, and teach you how to shoot off that square. But I don't think nobody taught her.
Whatsoever.
She lost them that game. Y'all can say whatever y'all want. If she would have hit that layup, game over. Game over. I had nothing to say. That layup was wide open. If y'all don't think that was wide open, that's bullshit. Aaliyah Boston was right behind her. She could.
Then came the sequence that ultimately shaped the entire outcome of the game. With the score tied and the clock winding down in regulation, Atlanta had the exact opportunity every team hopes to get in a hostile road environment. The ball found Reese with a clean, uncontested look at the basket, with no defender anywhere close enough to challenge her shot. This was not a rushed, off-balance attempt with multiple defenders closing in. It was about as open a look as any player could hope for in a professional basketball game, with the season storyline hanging on the result. She missed it. The rebound stayed live, and teammates Ryan Howard and Naz Hillman both scrambled for follow-up chances in the final instant, but neither could convert. Regulation ended tied, and Atlanta had watched a golden opportunity from close range slip away in the most painful way possible.
Your team on a 17-4 run right now. You started that with a 7-0 run. How did you kind of get things going for your team?
Yeah, I mean, I was playing like in the beginning, but it's a game of runs. You got to put that in your back pocket just because you know you have teammates that have your back.
Pushed under the hoop just enough to not have a great angle. To OT we go.
The frustration on her face afterwards seemed to say everything that words never could. She stood there for a moment with her eyes closed, almost as if she were replaying the missed opportunity in her mind and was clearly unhappy with the result. Missing a shot like that in front of a packed arena, with the entire rivalry storyline hanging over the afternoon, is not something a player can simply forget in a split second. But showing frustration afterward cannot change what had already happened. And it certainly could not erase the overtime period that followed, when Indiana gradually pulled away and calmly closed out the game.
About her missing this shot for the game, it's not necessarily that she missed it, it's the reaction to it. After she missed, this Caitlin Clark walking past laughing, bro. And y'all know how these two fan bases are, so they are loving this picture right here. The main reason it bothers me too is because it makes it so easy to overlook everything else that she actually does on the court. Like defensively and obviously rebounding wise, bro, she's incredible. I just need her to fix this so they have something else that they have.
This is the moment that truly sent social media into a frenzy within minutes of the final buzzer. As Reese stood there trying to process the miss, cameras caught Caitlin Clark calmly walking toward the Fever bench with a noticeable smile on her face. And to many viewers watching live, it appeared as though she was laughing at the situation. Nobody can know with complete certainty what Clark was actually reacting to in that exact moment. But the context made the scene especially damaging for Atlanta, regardless of how people interpreted it. The internet had spent weeks building this matchup around Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark, another chapter in a rivalry that Atlanta had managed to win earlier this season. Yet when the biggest moment arrived, with everyone watching for exactly this kind of storyline, Clark appeared calm, composed, and completely in control while Reese looked visibly frustrated by what had just happened. That is what transformed an ordinary missed shot into a viral moment that quickly became impossible to escape online. It was not simply that Reese missed the layup. It was that Clark's expression, whether intentional or completely incidental, became the perfect visual representation of the entire afternoon for millions of people scrolling through their phones.
To say that she's not good?
Who, Angel?
Yeah, she's not good at basketball. Like, I'm tired. Look, we've said this in the past. I'm tired of it. I can't lie anymore. Like, I watched her miss 8 layups. She could be averaging like 25, 26 if she could make a layup. And the way she lays it up, it's like she's just learning how to, like, you know, when toddlers finally learn how to walk, they fall a little bit. It's like she just learned how to do layups once she got to the WNBA. It makes no sense to me. Like, she could be so much better. And for someone who has her own podcast, she talks her stuff, you would think she's the MVP. You would think she's that girl over in Vegas. But no, she's closer to AZ Fudd than she is to homegirl in Vegas. So, yeah, there's that. She's been an inefficient player. I feel like we hype her up because she's grabbing rebounds, but
here is where the real disconnect begins to become obvious. If you only looked at the basic numbers, Reese recorded her 23rd double-double of the season, putting her just a few away from a WNBA record that has been discussed throughout the year. 15 points, 14 rebounds, and 6 assists sounds like an impressive stat line at first glance, and plenty of post-game coverage focused heavily on those numbers, presenting her performance as another display of toughness and consistency. But look one level deeper and the picture changes quickly. She shot just 5 for 16 from the field and missed her first 6 attempts before halftime. She also failed to score a single point throughout the entire fourth quarter, the exact stretch when a team's frontcourt scorer is expected to step up. Then came the 2 most important possessions of the afternoon, the 2 opportunities that could have allowed Atlanta to finish the game in regulation, and she came up empty on both. That is the real difference between an eye-catching stat line and what actually happens when the game is hanging in the balance. A double-double may look impressive on a broadcast graphic, but it carries a very different meaning when a player finishes scoreless in crunch time and misses the exact opportunity that could have decided the outcome.
At a regulation, and it just didn't go down, and then we had to try to compete in overtime. I thought players try to execute the game plan really well, especially defensively. It's just disappointing to come up short. We just had to move on to the next play. I mean, we did we didn't run there was supposed to be one screen in there, and we kind of forgot the screen. But then Rye, took the shot, and we told those 2 to really crash the boards and give us a second chance. They both did exactly what we asked for them. And then we got 2 looks, right at the end of the game that, could have won it for us, but, they rolled out. Just kind of a bad.
Head coach Carl Smesko sat down for his post-game press conference and made an effort to keep his comments diplomatic, as coaches usually do after a painful loss. But if you watch the footage carefully, the frustration seems to be sitting just beneath the surface throughout the entire conversation. Reporters repeatedly guided the discussion back toward the final possession, and each time, Smesko appeared to choose his words carefully, almost as though he were holding back a stronger reaction. He brought up the final minutes several times during the press conference, returning to the same sequence again and again, even after reporters had moved on, almost as if he could not completely put it behind him. When a coach repeatedly returns to the same closing stretch without being directly pushed there every time, it can suggest that the sequence is bothering him much more than his controlled tone is revealing.
It happens like we know any other time like Angel will make the shot. I mean, she knows she'll make the shot, but in that moment, you just got to encourage your teammates. Like, no one person lost us the game. It's a team effort, and just like she's with us when we're struggling, we do the same thing for Angel. I mean, it's a sisterhood. Like, we really love each other, support each other. So, I mean, I'll put everything on the line that the next time she gets a shot like that, she'll make it 100%. It's just this time she came up a little short, but I mean, I have all the faith in the world of Angel that she's going to finish her shot.
Teammates did exactly what players are expected and trained to do in that kind of situation. Alicia Gray, who finished with a career-high 32 points in the loss, spoke to reporters afterward and publicly defended Reese, emphasizing that no single player was responsible for the defeat and that the result came down to a collective team effort from beginning to end. That is the professional, locker room-approved response everyone expects after a difficult loss, and on the surface it sounds like complete unity. But pay attention to what was missing from that statement. Nobody directly denied that Reese's miss was one of the most important moments of the entire game. Nobody claimed the loss had nothing to do with her performance. The response was carefully worded to publicly protect a teammate without changing the reality of what everyone inside that arena had just witnessed with their own eyes.
We're playing pretty well right now. I think we have a lot of players playing well, and I think we feel pretty good about the direction of the team. Now, road trips are tough, and I mean, the first thing we got to do is, go to Vegas and be ready for them. But I feel good about our team. We'll have to take a day tomorrow and really kind of rest up because obviously a lot of people played some really heavy minutes. So tomorrow's probably just a film session. And then we're going to have to get ready to give the same kind of effort if we're going to beat Vegas as we gave for most of.
This is where the larger picture begins to emerge once you step away from any one individual game. Reese has been fairly open throughout the season about wanting to be recognized as a true vocal leader on this roster, someone who communicates constantly, directs teammates, and holds them accountable in real time. There is nothing inherently wrong with that approach. Plenty of successful players around the league are vocal and demanding when the pressure rises. The problem starts when the results fail to consistently support that level of intensity. Reese has openly acknowledged struggling during stretches this season, even admitting at halftime of this game that she had gotten off to a poor start and needed to make adjustments quickly. Fans, and reportedly some people within the locker room, have begun connecting the two sides of the equation. A player who repeatedly demands space and control on the floor, but does not always capitalize once that opportunity is given to her. That combination can gradually weaken trust within a team over the course of a long season. It is one thing to demand more from teammates when your own production consistently backs up that demanding voice. It becomes much harder when the intensity remains the same, but the execution does not consistently follow, especially during the possessions that ultimately determine wins and losses. Atlanta had already defeated Indiana comfortably in their earlier meeting this season, with Reese playing a strong and efficient role in that victory. This time, with the spotlight much brighter and the stakes higher because of the growing rivalry narrative, she fell short when the moment mattered most. Clark, on the other hand, did not.
I will say, though, as far as advice, is that for whatever reason, in the WNBA, like women's basketball, a lot of their layups, they don't finish like wide. like outside their body. Everything is like up in the cylinder. You know, a lot of people look down on like the mic and drill, like basic stuff like that. I feel like that's all Angel Reese is missing, just a little bit of touch. And once she gets that, then she's really gonna be putting up wild numbers. Cause she's getting to the basket. If you know what I'm saying, you put 20 points within 15 rebounds, it's low-key the best player.
None of this means Angel Reese is finished as a player, and none of it takes away from the double-doubles or impressive rebounding numbers she has consistently produced throughout the season. Her overall body of work still places her among the league's stronger rebounders, and one difficult overtime loss cannot erase months of reliable production on the glass. But perception inside a locker room can change quickly when a moment this visible happens in front of so many cameras, and losses carrying this much national attention can accelerate that shift rather than slow it down. If teammates begin feeling like they are repeatedly clearing space and sacrificing their own opportunities for a player who does not consistently make those sacrifices count when the pressure is highest, frustration can start building quietly behind closed doors before eventually becoming visible in public. Atlanta's coaching staff now has a genuine decision to make about how late-game possessions should be distributed for the remainder of the season and potentially beyond. After such a painful loss on such a visible stage, that decision will not be easy for Carl Smesko and his staff. The rivalry with Indiana and Caitlin Clark is not disappearing anytime soon either. With the two franchises continuing to meet on the schedule and both fan bases amplifying every interaction between these players, the attention will only continue. When these teams meet again, everyone following the storyline will be watching closely to see whether Reese responds to this moment by making meaningful adjustments, or whether the same frustrating pattern repeats itself in front of an even larger audience.